So, what I'm going to recommend for the practice today for the initial opening flow is to take a blanket and outstretch it all across your mat. So, some of the movements that we'll do early in the practice are kind of like sliding and gliding movements, and the blanket over the sticky mat helps those sliding and gliding movements to be just a little bit more smooth. Right. So, the focus for our practice today will be the hips. I've been doing a lot of administrative work, so I've been sitting a lot, and I woke up this morning and I could really tell the impact of all of that sitting on my hips and my low back. So I thought we would have an emphasis on releasing some of that tension from the hips and the low back. And so a lot of times when we think about like a hip practice, I feel like many of our minds go straight to the outer hips. I know mine always goes to the outer hip, but just to remember, our hips, we have different movements of the hip. So the hip, when it moves back, is hip extension. When it draws into the body, that's hip flexion. When the leg moves out to the side, that's hip abduction. And when the leg draws into the body, that's hip adduction. So we want to think about kind of working the leg in all of the various directions that the hip moves. And also, I want to incorporate some side body stretches in this. So when we stretch through the side body, of course, we're getting, up through the latissimus and through the respiratory muscles, but we're also getting the outside line of the spine. So we'll incorporate some side stretches, and then our focus today will be the hips. So we're going to start down on our spine. So for the beginning opening, since we're going to be down on the mat, if you're a little cool this morning, one of our coolest mornings yet, you might keep your sweatshirt on or your jacket until we really get moving. So you're going to come down onto your back. You're going to let your knees bend and your feet can come just a bit wide, maybe even like lined up with the outer edges of your mat. And you can point your knees up, stretch your arms out from your heart, and just take a few windshield wiper sways here just to start releasing tension from the lower back region and from around the outer hips. So when the knees swing over to the left, that creates a mild stretch across the outer right hip. And when the legs swing over to the right, same thing on the left side, you get a mild stretch across the outer left hip region, across the front left hip, down through the thigh. And just a few more times. You might feel your arms just kind of spanning out from your heart like wings, grounding the bones of your arms down into the earth. Nice full breath in and full breath out. And as your knees are rocking through the center, you can pause with your knees pointing up. So, two options here. One is to keep your feet wide and maybe allow the knees and thighs to fall together until the bones connect and the legs are resting upon one another. If you prefer, you can bring your heels so that they line up approximately with the sitting bones and the knees point upward toward the sky. Relaxing your arms down by your sides or even hands connecting to the abdominal region while you allow your eyes to softly close. The constructive rest pose is one of the best poses to create a softening in the iliopsoas complex. So this complex of muscles connects from the front line of your spine kind of wraps around to the inside of the hip crest and then lands on the inner thigh. So connects the spine to the legs. So almost think about the origin of the iliopsoas as being directly behind the belly button. Just noticing the space of the belly button and then directly behind the belly button into the front line of your spine. Breathing deeply in and out. One last breath in and out here. Okay, we're going to take the arms back out to that wide, open, feel T position. We're going to point the knees back up to the sky if they were falling toward one another. We're going to take the feet wide again. So outer edges of the feet maybe lining up with the outer edges of your mat. So this motion we're going to do is almost like a half windshield wiper. So you're going to keep your right knee pretty much pointing up to the sky. And as you inhale, you're going to rock to the inner edge of the left foot. So the left knee is going to fall toward the midline of the body while the right knee stays pretty much still. And then as you inhale, you're going to allow your left knee to come back up. So you'll feel the full sole of the left foot come down. Then as you exhale again, just left side. So let your left knee fall over toward the right. So you come to the inner edge of your left foot. You might even feel the inner edge of the left foot press down just a bit into the floor, almost like the left knee is reaching toward the front short side of the mat. And then allow the left knee to rock back up to the center. We'll just do it a couple more times on this side. It's going to exhale, fall to the inner edge of your left foot, sweeping the left knee toward the right. Inhaling to rise up. 2 more times. Exhale, fall to the inner edge of the left foot. Feel the inner edge of the left foot ground down just a bit while the left knee almost feels like it's slightly reaching forward. And then rising back up. Last time. Exhale, twisting the left knee to the right, coming to the inner edge of the foot. And then rising back up to the center. Okay, just pause for a moment. Just notice the sensation around your left hip versus your right. So you might even notice how the gluteal region connects to the floor and see if there's a difference between the left side versus the right. So some of the most simple movements can actually be the most profound in terms of unwinding tension in the physical body. Okay. We're starting that on the right. So on the next exhale, fall to the inner edge of your right foot as the right knee falls toward the left, crossing over the midline of the body. And then as you're inhaling, allow your right knee to slowly rise back up. Exhale, fall to the inner edge of the right foot. Feel the inner edge of the right foot kind of ground down. Inhale to rise up, just 3 more times. Exhale, twist the right knee over to the left. Inhale as you rise through the center. Last 2 times. Exhale, fall to the inner edge of the right foot. Notice the opening all the way down across the right low belly, right hip. Inhale to rise up. Last one. Allow the knee to fall over to the left. Okay, and then rising back up to the center. Point the knees toward the sky. Take a moment, just see if you can notice now the hip points. Notice how the gluteals connect to the floor. The sensation down your thighs and into the knees. Okay, and then we're gonna bring the feet a little closer together. So now your heels are gonna be approximately in line with the sitting bones. We're gonna take a eagle twist. So left foot's gonna stay down on the mat. You're gonna pick up your right foot so that your right leg can cross over your left. Just like you were in a chair with your legs crossed. We're gonna take a breath in, and as you exhale, the shape of the legs will fall to the right. So the weight of the right leg will now almost in a sense kind of drag that left leg down. So it's a little bit stronger now across the outer hip. Mild twist for the abdominal region. Inhale, rise up. Let's keep going to this side. So when your knees go to the left, or to the right rather, I'm sorry, if you want to rotate your head, knees go to the right, head goes to the left. So you're looking out toward your left arm and your left hand. And then inhaling, everything comes to the center, knees in the head. So just coordinating the twist of the lower body with the twist of the neck, turning the head to the left as the knees drop over to the right. Inhaling to come to the center. And again, exhale, rotate the legs to the right, rotate the head to the left. Rise upward to the center. So we're going to rotate the knees to the right one more time, and we're going to hold now. You might rotate the head to the left for a moment. We're going to keep the knees to the right, but if you like, you can bring your head back to the center so that your nose points up toward the sky. Now, the modification for this eagle twist is windshield wiper twist. So feel free if the sensation is overly intense in any way, you can just uncross the right leg. We're going to half snow angel this left arm. So we're going to take the left arm down toward the left hip. And then as you're breathing in, you're going to sweep your arm out to the side, and then you're going to let that left arm go all the way up by your left ear. And notice maybe some opening through the underarm regions, stretch through the side body. Exhale, let your arms sweep back out to the side and then back down. Then a nice deep breath in, stretch your left arm back out to the side. Sweep the arm up and along the side of the face, opening through the underarm, feeling your right leg kind of squeeze around your left leg, and then releasing your left arm back down. And then this one final time, that snow angel motion. So take a breath in, sweep your left arm out to the side, stretch your left arm up by your ear. And then as you're exhaling, sweeping the arm back out to the side and back down. Now we're just going to take that left arm, sweep it back out to the T, and then you want to slowly bring the legs back to the center. Unwind your right leg from your left leg. As your right foot comes down to the mat, pick up your left foot, hug your left knee and your left thigh in toward your left rib cage. Slide the left knee just an inch or two to the left so that the knee almost feels like it's hooking in toward the left underarm. Now you can always stay right here. This variation of the half knee to chest Ardha Apanasana, or if you like Ardha Ananda Balasana, which is half happy baby, you might stack your left ankle over your knee and maybe reach up holding, right? So you can hold around your calf, you can hold around your ankle, and if you need some extra lengthen your arms, you might take a strap along the ball of the foot and hold the strap instead. So all of those positions work really well. So this position, just grounding down through the back body. Now, as you're grounding down through the back body, I want you to just notice your right knee. You almost want to feel like your right knee is reaching toward the front short side of the mat a little bit. So you'll notice as you feel that just like slight sensation of the knee reaching forward, that there's not quite as much pressure across your low back down into the floor. Nice deep and grounding position for the hips and the legs. Take a deep breath in, a last breath out. Okay, let's release the hands from the foot. Let's allow the left foot to come down. Just go a few times, just windshield wipers with the knees from side to side. Pausing when your knees point up to the ceiling, line your heels up with your sitting bones, pick up your left foot, cross your left leg over your right as though you were sitting in a chair with your legs crossed. Feel the span from your heart out through your arms and your hands. Nice full breath in. And as you're exhaling, let your legs shift off to the left. So you're going to come to the inner edge of the right foot as the weight of your left leg kind of tractions that bottom right leg. And then as you're inhaling, let's rise up through the center. Exhaling, twisting the legs off to the left, feeling the opening through the right arm, maybe rotating the head to look at your right hand. And then inhaling to come back to the center. Exhale to twist the legs to the left, maybe turn the head, look to your right hand, ground down through the bones of your right arm. Inhale as you rise through the center, last 2 times. Exhaling to twist the legs to the left, maybe take your gaze and look out to the right. Inhale to come to the center. Last one for our hold. So we're going to take the knees to the left, maybe rotate the head, just focus on dropping the weight of your right arm down. Now you can keep the head here for the snow angel. I often like to just bring my nose back to the center. Let your right arm release down so it's down by your right hip. And then as you're breathing in, half snow angel, that right arm, sweep it out to the side and let the right arm sweep up by the side of the face. And as you exhale, let your right arm sweep down and back by the hip. So remember, the windshield wiper is the modification. So if there's sensation that feels too much, you can always uncross the left leg. Breathe in, sweep the left arm out, stretch the right arm. I'm mixing up my rights and lefts today. Swing your right arm up by your right ear. And then exhale as you let your right arm come back down by your hip. And then this very last one, take a breath in and sweep your arm out to the side. Let your right arm reach along the right ear. And as you're exhaling, sweep your right arm out to the side and back down by your hip. Right arm's going to open back out to the T position. Legs are swinging up to the center. The left leg is going to uncross. The left foot is going to come down to the mat. Your right foot is going to pick up off of the floor, and the right thigh is going to hug into your ribs. Wrap your hands around your right shin bones as the thigh bone draws in. You're going to slide your right knee 1 to 2 inches to the right. So lining the knee up just a little bit more with the underarm. Okay, so you can stay right here, or Ardha Ananda Balasana, the happy baby pose. You can take your left ankle, stack it on top of your, did I say the left ankle? I'm all mixed up. Right ankle over the right knee. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. I told my husband, I'm so excited about being alive. I can't sleep. So I think that might be why I'm mixing up my rights and lefts. So right ankle over the right knee. Hold your hands to your calf, your ankle, your foot, the strap. And then you're just gonna breathe in. Nice, deep, full breath out. One more inhale and exhale. Just notice the left knee. There's almost a little bit of sensation of that front left knee reaching toward the front short side of the mat. Okay, and then we're going to release the hands from the foot, release the right foot down, spread your wings from your heart, sway your legs from side to side. Okay, so we're going to point the knees back up to the sky. One more series of movements here. Heels approximately lining with the sitting bones. You're going to interlace your hands and you're going to bring your hands to the back of the head to support the back of the skull, kind of right around where that ridge is at. You're going to take the right elbow. The back body's going to stay down on the floor, but we're going to take the right elbow and we're going to crunch it toward the right hip. So you might even have to kind of inch your body a little bit. So this is where that blanket really comes in handy. So the left elbow reaches toward the back short side of the mat and you open up through the left side body. You're going to come through the center and then you're going to just do the same thing to the left. So you're going to tip your left elbow down. If you need to, kind of inch your upper body over to the left so you get that nice opening through the right side of the body. Right elbow reaching toward the back short side while you get some contraction across the left. Let's come back through the center. We're going to do that one more time to each direction. So start leaning your right elbow toward your right hip. Maybe kind of inch your shoulders over. Take the left elbow point, reach it toward the back of the mat. Feel your head release into your hands, especially your right hand. Last exhale here. And then inhale, come back through the center. Last one. Inch your shoulder blades over to the left. Take your left elbow down while your right elbow points up, stretching through the right side of the body. Okay, and then we're gonna come through the center. Okay, we're gonna take reclined bound mountains. You're gonna stretch your legs out on the mat. Press through your heels so that your feet are active, drawing that activation of the muscles all the way up through your leg muscles. Keep your hands interlocked, but stretch your arms along the sides of your face. Now, you can always release the interlock, right? So if that bothers your shoulders in any way, feel free, release it. Take your tailbone slightly down. Draw your low front ribs in. We're going to do one more of those side bends, but now we're going to take it from this position. So we're going to start to lean the body a little to the right. You might have to kind of inch your shoulders over a little bit, right? You might even look down toward your left outer heel. Feel the contraction of the right side body as your left side body opens. Okay, last exhale on this side. We're going to inch the body through the center and then over to the left. Okay, last side body stretch here. Reclined bound mountain with a side stretch opening through the right. If it feels better on your neck, you might kind of draw the chin in toward the left underarm while you gaze down at your outer left heel. All right, coming back through the center, releasing the hands, letting the arms just kind of come down by your legs or back out in that T position. Just kind of move your legs, not in any real specific way, but maybe bend one knee, straighten the opposite knee. Almost kind of feels like you're walking here on your back, kind of walking out through the hips, creating some movement across the sacrum. All right, so we're going to allow your knees to bend one at a time. Place your feet flat to the floor. And we're going to be transitioning up to tabletop now. So you can always rock forward and back on your spine or roll to one side and press your hands into the floor so that you can come up. Okay, so it's helpful now If you're warm enough, take off of your sweater, your jacket, and then also that blanket that was extended out over your whole mat. You do want to take a moment to just get that out of your way, right? Because that blanket over the top of the sticky mat can make your blanket or your mat a little bit slippery. Okay. Maybe fold it up long ways and then fold that in half, and then you can place it underneath of your knees. Okay, so I'm going to have you come to tabletop. We're going to have those blocks nearby, like right out in front or to the side. So as you arrive, just to give everyone a chance to arrive here, let's just cat-cow for a moment. So just breathe in and let your belly release and lift up through your heart. As you're exhaling, press into your hands. Take your tailbone under, arc and round through your back body. Inhale, let your belly release, lift up through your heart. Exhale, press into your hands, take your tailbone under, arc and round through your spine, and then breathe in, come to neutral. We're gonna take this position, tabletop, but with a little bit of a side stretch. So we're gonna walk the hands over to the right. And so here's where one of those blocks may come in handy. You might slide the block underneath of the left hand. Okay, you can bend your right elbow, and then you're just gonna lean your hips over slightly to the left, right? So you're still on tabletop versus child's pose. Left hand is on the floor or a little bit of height using the block. Chin is going to come slightly in. Reach out long through the crown of your head and just noticing the opening through the left side of the body. One more inhale. Just like a leaning table. One more exhale. Let your body start to come back up through the center. We're going to do the same thing over to the left. You're going to start to walk your hands over to the left. Maybe your right hand is going to come to a block, but the mat is just fine. Bend your left elbow. So that's going to provide you with almost like a kickstand sensation. And your hips are going to just very gently lean a little bit to the right. Chin is in, gaze is down at the floor, reach out long through the crown of your head, and then just notice the stretch and sensation across the right side body. Okay, deep inhale and exhale. And we're gonna come back through the center. Blocks there to the front, short side, cow tilt, spread through your fingers, release your belly down to the floor, releasing the belly button down to the mat, tops of the thigh bones moving back. Exhale, grounding into the balls of the feet, sending the knees up and hips up, downward facing dog. Pedaling out through your knees and your feet. Grounding strong through your hands and feeling how as you're pedaling through your feet, you feel some stretch through your toes, through the arches of your feet, through the backs of your ankles. As the heel presses down toward the floor, notice how that brings some elongation up through the calf muscles. Nice full inhale and full exhale. All right, then you can find some stillness here. You're gonna take a deep inhalation, start to bring your gaze up to the space between your hands and start to walk your feet forward. So a few small steps or maybe one big step with each foot, just coming into the Uttanasana, the forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift, so your hands could be on your blocks, your shin bones, or even staying down on the mat. Reach out long through the spine, crown of the head, exhale, bow your belly and your chest in towards your legs. Take a breath in, let your knees begin to bend, take your arms, sweep them out to the side. Let your arms stretch up and along the sides of your face. So at the top, interlock your hands. Turn your palms to face up toward the sky and draw your low belly in toward the front line of the spine. Exhale with your hands in this position. Tip your body to the right. So bound mountain with a side stretch. Same thing that we did on the floor. Inhale as you're rising through the center, and exhale as you're tipping your body to the left. Inhale as you're coming through the center, your hands releasing that interlocked position so your palms can face one another. Exhale, prayer hands coming through the heart, bend your knees and fold your body into your legs. Now, as you breathe in, I'm gonna have you just bend your knees almost like you're going to chair position. So the sitting bones are gonna start to sink down. Your spine is gonna become about parallel to the floor. Draw your low front ribs in, and you can stay here on your breath in. You're just going to take your arms and bring them out to the sides so that they're about parallel to the floor. And then as you're exhaling, bring your hands back down and send your hips back up toward the sky as you fold into your legs. Reversing your swan dive. Breathe in, let your knees bend. Begin to circle sweep your arms. Reach your arms long by the sides of the face at the top. Interlock your hands, bow mountain. Flip your palms up toward the sky. Feel the grounding in your feet. Exhale, tip your body to the right. Bow mountain with a side tilt. Inhale as you rock through the center, feet steady and strong. Exhale as you tip your body to the left. Inhale as you pass through the center, feeling the interlock of the hands release. Turn your palms to face one another. Exhale, prayer hands coming through the heart. Bend your knees and start hinging your body forward over your legs. Take a breath in. Bend your knees, take your sitting bones down a bit, sweep your arms out to the side. And then as you're exhaling, take your hands back down and fold into your legs. Now, this time we're just going to take that traditional halfway lift. So inhale, you can take your hands to the blocks, the shins, or the floor. We're going to exhale, step the left foot back. So preparing for warrior two position. So we're going to spin the back left heel down. So right heel approximately in line with the left. That's just an approximation. So right knee bent over the right ankle. Breathe in. Let your arms begin to circle, sweep around and up so that you turn to face the left long side of the mat and you're there in the shape of the warrior two. So we're going to slide the left hand down to the left hip. We're just going to do a little bit of gliding here with the body. So as you exhale, you're just going to lean the body to the right. Just kind of leaning over the right leg. And then as you're exhaling, just coming back up through the center. So you can feel the opening down through the left side body as you lean. So lean to the right. And then as you exhale, come back to the center. Let's do that one more time. So just lean the body to the right. Rising back up to the center. Breathe in, take your left arm, let it lift back up. So arms are parallel to the floor. Exhale, bring your hands around, framing your front right foot, spinning off of your back left heel, stepping your right foot back. Downward facing dog. Now from that downward dog, breathe in and exhale, take your knees down to the mat. Ground into the right knee. Inhale, you're going to sweep your left leg back behind you, up into the air, release through your belly. Now we're going to exhale, take the left knee and hook it toward the left elbow. So bringing it toward the left elbows, you're going to feel more of a contraction of the hip muscles versus knee to chest. Inhale, send your left leg back up behind you. Left leg stays straight. Swing the left leg over to the right until the left ball of the foot comes down to the mat. Take your chin toward your right shoulder, almost like you're looking out toward your back heel, just opening through the left side of the body. Again, breathe in, left leg stays straight, float the left leg into the air, release through the belly, lift through the heart. Exhale, hook your left knee in toward your left elbow, rounding and arcing through your back. Inhale, send the left leg back up into the air. Keep the leg straight, swing it out over to the right, let the ball of the foot come down, and just take your gaze out toward your left heel. Breathe in, send your left leg back up. And as you exhale, set the left knee down onto the mat. Breathe in, release your belly to the floor, lift through the center sternum. Exhale, ground into the balls of the feet. Float your knees up, downward facing dog. Pausing here, about 3 deep rounds of inhalation and exhalation. Okay, on your next inhale, you can bring your gaze upward toward that space between your thumbs, and then you can begin to step your feet forward, coming back into that forward folding position. Inhale, halfway lift with your spine, hands on your blocks. Your shins press into your feet. You might even lift your 10 toes, just get that anchoring of your feet. And then exhale as you fold into your legs. Inhale, bending your knees, sweeping your arms out to the side, rising them up, interlocking your hands. Send your palms upward toward the sky. Tailbone slightly down. Exhale, tip your body to the right. Bow mountain with a side stretch. Inhale as you come through the center. Exhale as you tip to the left. Inhale as you rise up through the center. Prayer hands are going to start to come into the heart as you bend your knees. Feel your body hinge out over your legs, folding in. Inhale, let your knees bend. Take your arms back out to the side again. So just that little mini chair. You want to support the rise of the arms up by drawing those low front ribs in. Exhale, hands are coming down and hips are rising up. Now breathing in, halfway lift. So lift the belly away from the thighs. Take your shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, step your right foot back. Turn your right heel down to the floor. Inhale, warrior two, facing the right long side of the mat. Coming up, shoulders stacking over hips, right hand coming down to land on your right hip. You're going to take your inhale with your left arm. You're just going to lean your body to the left. Feeling some opening through the right side of the body as you press into your right foot. Exhale, come to the center. Again, inhale, reach forward. Exhale as you rise up one last time. Inhale as you reach forward. Exhale as you rise up. Breathe in, send your right arm back out from your heart, arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, let your hands come around, frame your left foot, lift your right heel, step your left foot back into down dog. In that downward dog, take a nice deep breath in, and then as you're exhaling, take your knees down into table. So you're going to ground into your left knee. Inhale, send your right leg back behind you. Release through your belly, lift through your heart. Exhale, right knee is going to come in toward the right elbow. Press into your hands. Inhale, send the right leg back behind you, a light release of the belly. Keep the legs straight. Swing the right leg over to the left now, so the ball of the foot lightly taps down. Chin toward the left shoulder as you look toward your right heel. Inhale, come to the center, lift the leg, belly button tips down toward the mat. Exhale, scoop your right knee in toward your right elbow. Inhale, re-extend your right leg, lift through your heart. Keep the leg straight as you swing it over. One more time. Ball of the foot lightly touching, chin toward left shoulder, looking toward your heel. Inhale, let your right leg lift up, and exhale, lower the right knee to the mat. Breathing in, spread your fingers, let your belly release. And as you're exhaling, grounding into the balls of the feet, float the knees down dog. So take a few moments, deep inhale, deep exhale. If you like, as you're here, you might even pulse your heels a little bit, feeling the breath in, almost kind of like balloon the heels upward to lift up onto the balls of the feet. Then as you're exhaling, letting your heels kind of have more of like a sort of like settling, rooting toward the earth. It's this real light, easy pulse of the heels. Okay, we're gonna ground the weight into the left ball of the foot. You're gonna inhale and send your right heel up into downward facing dog split. Now as you're exhaling, we're gonna step the right foot through toward the right wrist. You're gonna bring the foot forward and you're gonna turn your back left heel down to the floor. And you wanna reach forward, catch hold of one of those blocks. You're gonna bring the block to the inner edge of the right foot and ankle. Now it can be on any height. The higher the block, it gets a little more unstable. So you can keep it there, but just be mindful, right? So hand on the block. Now you can always modify this by taking your right forearm and just even resting it on your right thigh instead of taking the hand to the block. Okay, so we want to use the connection of the right arm and the right inner knee as a focal point. So the arm and the knee kind of draw in toward one another. Okay, and then this left hand can always stay on the hip. We're going to take the left arm and stretch it up toward the sky. We're going to do a little movement with the left arm. So as you exhale, your left arm's going to come forward. So it's just reaching out toward the left short side or left long side of your mat. You can even sweep it all the way down. And then as you're breathing in, you can let that arm sweep up and maybe even slightly back, like 1 inch or so back, and then come forward and down partially, and then sweep the arm forward, back up, maybe 1 extra inch back. And then one last time, and let the arm come forward. And then you're gonna sweep the arm up. Okay, and then now as you're exhaling, both hands can come back down. Both hands can frame the front right foot. The back left heel can spin away from the floor, and the right foot can step back into downward facing dog. Or maybe even pausing here or taking child's pose. If you like, you might even want to roll the hips out, come into plank pose. Knees up or knees down, maybe taking an exhale to let the elbows bend and to lower the chest and the ribs, letting the tops of the feet come to meet the earth. Inhale, taking a curl up into the cobra. And then the exhale, carrying the hips up and back into the down dog. Okay, ground into the right ball of the foot. Inhale, send your left heel up into down dog split. So the back of the right leg is a little restricted. Be sure to bend the right knee as the left heel rises. Exhale, hook the left knee in toward the ribs to step the left foot through. Turn your back right heel down to the mat, and then you can slide the block to the inner edge of your left ankle. Now remember, you can always take the left elbow, forearm region to the left thigh. Okay. Block on any height. Use the arm and the inner knee as a focal point. So those two areas of the body kind of drawing in toward one another. Right hand can stay at your hip, or eventually you might stretch the right arm so that it stretches straight up to the ceiling. Taking a breath in, and then as you're exhaling, that right arm can start to sweep forward. So it's out toward the right long side of the mat. Your hand's going to come down. And then take a nice big breath in and stretch the right arm. Back up, maybe slightly back, like 1 inch, but stay, engaged in those low front ribs. And then exhale, come forward with the right arm and down. And as you're breathing in, sweeping the right arm out and then up. Okay, and then exhale one last time, just coming forward. Inhale as you're feeling your right arm sweep open, straight out to the side, and then up to the sky, low ribs in. As you're exhaling, let's bring the hands down, framing that front left foot and removing the block, spinning off of your right heel, and then stepping back into the downward dog. So again, you might hold here. You might take child's pose, or you might breathe in and let your hips start to roll out. Coming in to the plank position. Knees up or the knees are down. Exhale. If your knees are up, you might move to the tips of the toes and just Noticing your strength as you lower down, chest and ribs, tops of the feet, rooting into the earth, tailbone down, feeling your heart open as you lift into a cobra, energizing and stimulating pose. Exhale, send your hips up, downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. One last breath in and out here. And do one more standing pose. So we're gonna take the gaze up toward the hands, start to walk the feet forward, coming into the forward fold. As you're arriving there, you might take a second, you might shift your blocks up to their highest sides. Inhale, lift your spine halfway, and exhale as you fold in. Inhale as you allow your knees to bend, sweep your arms out to the sides. Exhale, hands coming together and into the heart. So we're going to take what I like to call the half chair position. And so you might use the blocks for this, but you can also do this standing with your hands on a wall, and that may give you a little more balance. So if you think about the figure 4 down on your spine, we're going to do that here standing. So you want to just start to bend into your left knee. You're going to pick up your right foot and you're going to cross the right outer ankle over the bottom part of the left thigh, like above the knee. So you're going to keep the right foot active by pressing through the heel. Okay, and then we're going to take the hands down to the blocks for a stretch across that outer right hip. So if the blocks are too low or you feel like you need a little extra balance support, please take the hands to the wall or to a chair, the couch, the edge of your bed. Those things are all really great. And so here we have chair pose with the left leg, figure 4 with the right leg, and almost like a halfway lift in the spine. 3 different poses here. And you can always stay in the halfway lift. So that always feels like a pretty good option for me because I hold so much restriction in my hips. Some people, however, may feel like they have the capacity to kind of bow in, just like a forward fold with maybe a little bit of gentle rounding in the spine. So feel free to bow in as long as that doesn't feel overly intense in your outer hip and especially across the low back. So when we do those forward folds, if we have any existing back condition, sometimes that can exacerbate the sensation or the achiness across the low back. Relax your eyes. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Okay, so to come out, we're going to start to slowly release the right foot down. Okay, so as the right foot comes back down to the mat, you can start to bend your knees and just let your body, your arms just rise up. Prayer hands come together over the crown of your head. Slide your prayer hands into your heart. We're going to take that on the second side. So you're going to let your weight come into your right foot. It's going to start to bend the right knee. So use your wall, your couch, your chair. You're going to pick up the left foot, cross the outer left ankle over the bottom part of the right thigh. Press through your left heel. You might notice a big difference between the two sides. I know this is my more restricted side. Feels much different than the first side, right? So chair pose in the right leg, figure 4 in the left, halfway lift with the spine. If the sensation is overly intense, you might stay in that halfway lift like I'm gonna do. And if the sensation, you can take a little more, then you can bow your belly in toward the shape of your leg. Deep inhale. Feel your eyes relax. Almost feel like you're breathing down into the hip region. So we can experience the shape change of the breath all throughout the body. So just envisioning that shape change of the breath down in the pelvis, and down around the area of your hips. Release and relax your shoulders. One more inhale. And then as you're exhaling, you're gonna let the left foot just start to come back down to the floor, releasing the hands from the blocks, just kind of folding there into the legs. We're gonna come into down dog. So plant your hand and step your feet back. I'm gonna do one more stretch for the hips, and then we'll start to come down into the back. So take your knees down to the floor. Gonna ground into the right knee, pick up the left knee, that left knee, hook it now behind the bent right knee. One of my favorite poses, the kneeling cow face pose. So you can move your feet apart from one another. So feet start to move to the outer edges of the mat. And then you're just going to start to rock your hips back toward the floor. So your body's kind of coming in a little bit there toward the thighs. I usually have to walk my hands in. Some will be able to actually get their hips all the way down to the floor. Mine will always be hovering, it seems. And if it feels overly intense, you can just kind of rock in and out. Come forward with your hips and then go back. Soften your eyes. One more inhale and exhale. Okay, and so slowly coming back up, just bring your feet closer together and unwind the left leg, and the knee can come down. Okay, and then we're gonna pick up the right knee. So the right knee will lift away from the floor and hook there behind the left, moving the feet wide and then sending the hips back toward the floor, maybe walking the hands in just a bit. Deep inhale and deep breath out. So you likely feel sensation across the outer hips, and you may feel sensation across the low back. And so, because it is a stretch for the low back. So pay attention to both of those areas, right? Especially if you just have this tendency toward low back achiness and sort of like a chronic low grade pain in the back. You might find benefit in just kind of moving in and out of that versus a longer hold. I always think about the practice as just this opportunity just to tune into our own experience, to make an intention, to honor the messages of the body. Connecting into the breath as a way of slowing everything down, including the movements of the mind, which actually makes us become more conscious of the messages of the body and the voice of wisdom within. Okay, last breath in. Last breath out. All right, we're going to take the hips, rocking back up. We're letting the feet come closer together, uncrossing the right leg, and then we're swinging the legs around, right or left. Just taking the legs out in front of you, and you can move your blanket off to the side. Come down onto your spine. Just send your hips to about the middle of the mat or down onto your back. Okay, so to balance out those last two poses, we want to take a happy baby, full happy baby this time. So draw your thighs into your ribs. You can slide your knees open so you have that reclined wide knee child's pose. And remember the option to stay there. Reach up for your calves, your ankles, or your feet, and your strap can always go across the balls of both feet. And then you hold one part of the strap, and each hand reach the tailbone slightly toward the front short side of the mat while you feel this gentle pressure upward through your heels, the spreading of your toes. So the Sanskrit for this pose, Ananda Balasana. So Ananda, the translation is bliss. I always like to think about breaking that word down, right? Just acceptance, contentment, ease, happiness, joy, bliss. Noticing how acceptance and contentment are the baseline for those deeper layers of happiness and joy. Last inhale and exhale. And let your hands begin to release. Let your heels drop in toward your buttocks. Let your feet come down to the floor. Take windshield wipers or maybe a full body stretch. Okay, and then you can release and relax your body into Shavasana. And just letting the movement of your breath begin to settle. Just remaining mindful of the flow of your breath, allowing that to connect you to a feeling of joy in regard to being alive. It is a true gift to have the experience of this day. And often our mind can get so bogged down with things that really aren't that important in the long run, right? So as you let your body settle and you connect into your breath, just feeling a sense of deep joy for being able to take this next inhale and exhale. Okay. So just letting your body remain still, but just coming back in to the feeling of the physical structure, the flow of your breath, a sense of deep spaciousness in your body and your mind. Allowing your knees one at a time to bend, feet connecting to the earth and rolling to your right or to your left. And then pressing your hands down so that you can bring your body back up to your seat. Arriving seated, let your hands join at your heart in prayer. The light within me sees and bows to that same light that exists within each of you. Namaste.